Oh, look, we're live. Holy crap.
Ooh, hey.
Whoa, hey.
Hey,
Whoa.
world. How you doing?
Whoa. Hey. Whoa. What is what? That's it.
All right, good night, everybody.
All right, good night. That was actually a lot of fun, I'll be honest. I thought it was going to be a little bit less fun than that, but I felt good about that one.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I feel really zen.
You are zen. All right, let's do this.
Mm.
What's this do? 1 second, I gotta clean that
Oh, you
off.
got a touchy screen.
Yeah. It makes it easier to like
Do things.
mute people. I just mute.
Oh, JD's talking? Boop.
No. I don't. I have it started with muted.
Oh,
No, just kidding. I don't even have you on. All right, let's see. What is this? Okay,
yesterday.
you're good. What is this?
Tomorrow?
All right. Hey, just so you know, I don't make this stuff up,
I make up at least half of it.
and the dog makes up all of it. You know, JD says I'm the smarts.
Mainly because I'm the hearts.
Yeah, and the dog is the farts. But today we're gonna find out I am the heart and he is the smarts. Or
Definitely not.
I'm the farts today.
I think we're all trading off on the farts part.
I know. I shouldn't have had that. I had too much ice cream last night.
Man, for me, it's the tacos.
Yeah, I want more ice cream.
All right, let's get ice cream and tacos. Can we get ice cream tacos?
Absolutely, we can.
Or taco flavored ice cream?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm in.
So today, JD and I have decided to have a conversation about, can you see yourself doing anything else? You know, because success in entertainment, believe it or not, is loving what you hate. Ooh. Have questions about how ridiculous that topic sentence is? Ask below. That's what the live show is for. That allows us a chance and an opportunity to speak with the audience. And, that's how it works. Anyway, let's get started.
All right.
JD,
yes, Thomas.
What is it you always wanted to do growing up other than be an AC salesman?
Growing up, I didn't know what I wanted to do up until I discovered guitar, and then I kind of very quickly realized.
When did you discover guitar?
I was about 14.
14? How old were you?
I was at least 13.
So was that like a year older than 14?
I mean, you're younger than 14?
When?
What?
What if I'm 13 and you're only 12?
Then I would say that's a really long 12 years.
I'm just saying.
Time moves really weird in my head.
You'd be surprised. So you discovered guitar when you were 14. And you're like, I want to play guitar for the rest of my life.
It's probably about 15 or 16 when I realized that's what I wanted to do.
Awesome. What did that mean to you? The concept to I want to play guitar for a living.
As a 15 or 16-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not today. You're educated today. So
I don't know about that.
I want to know what you thought 14 when you were 14.
I at
5
least
years ago.
know one half thing more than when I was 15 or 16.
How old were you?
14 and a half.
Was that about 12?
It is, actually.
All right.
To me, as a 15 or 16-year-old kid,
yeah,
I knew I wanted to just focus my career efforts in the realm of making music.
But
other than that, I didn't really know too much because, again, I was a 15, 16-year-old kid who was like, oh, look, I have feet.
Does making music mean performing?
That was an aspect of it that I wanted to do, yes.
But like, were you like, I want to make a living making music? Or was it like, I want to make a living in the music industry?
Making music, because I did not at that time realize just how anything worked, and I didn't understand the depth of how the
Back then,
yes.
Okay.
I mean, still to this day, I still learn things just sitting in front of you eating breakfast. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
I barely learn anything.
Does that get frustrating at times? Or you're just like
every day. Do you when you were like, I want to make music, would you be happy today if you were just writing music and not necessarily performing and recording and stuff? And making a living just writing music?
Making a living writing music?
Well, yeah, because that was the question.
I would be happy doing that.
Yeah. You'd be like, all right, I write music. Even if it wasn't your music, like let's say it was like
someone said, hey, I need you to write this.
Like jazz or pop or rap or anything. Would you care what it was musically?
Now?
Yeah. No, back then.
Back then I definitely would have.
Would you be like, it has to be my music?
Yes, because I was an uneducated, angsty teenager who had a lot of frustration that needed to be focused and understood what was going on.
So let me ask you a question. Could you see yourself doing anything else other than writing music that was yours only?
Back then?
Yeah.
No, because I did not realize that that was an option, and I didn't understand what I was feeling or my thoughts or anything about life. So I was very narrow-minded back then.
So you couldn't see yourself doing anything but writing your music.
Back then,
Yeah.
yes.
And how about now?
Right now, I just like being able to play music.
But not write it.
And to write.
Oh, well, I mean, they are two different things.
They are definitely two different things.
Playing music and writing music are definitely not the same thing.
Agreed.
You know, it's like performing and recording are not the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. For me, at this point in my life, music in any way, shape, or form is... Music in any way basically brings me happiness. And if I'm able to work with music in some capacity, you know, I'm happy, because I feel content with how I'm able to make sense of my emotions, which music when I was a teenager is basically what helped me personally handle like anxiety and like my struggles with mental health. But at this point, I feel like I have that focus so that I can now enjoy music in, you know, most situations as it's presented. Because I also know at this point I have the freedom to do my own thing, you know, separately. I'm not really dependent on other things in order to do that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, when I say, can you see yourself doing anything else?
Do you mean like another career path?
Yeah, I mean, like, could you see yourself doing anything other than music and be happy?
Like, I can't see myself being a, you know, like a lawyer.
Yeah. But let me point out
as much as I like to argue.
So this is why I believe this is terrible advice. Can you see yourself doing anything else? If you can't, then do what you want to do, right? Because everything JD said had to do with the art side of it.
It did.
It had nothing to do with what the actual job of being a musician is. You know, writing music has nothing to do with the business. Performing music has nothing to do with the business. Recording
has nothing to do with the business.
You know, just recently, Paul McCartney recorded Paul McCartney 3, and he can do that because he has such a strong brand and such a his company, the Paul McCartney Company, is so huge that in the pandemic, he's like, I just recorded a whole album. And then other musicians are like, oh, I'll just record an album. I'll use my time wisely. And in their mind, they think they're doing what it is they love. They're like, I can't see myself doing anything other than playing music, and writing and recording. That's my dream. This is it. But yet you have yet to answer the real question, and not you in general, but you as in the royal you, is like, as a person, if you say to yourself, I can't see myself acting, I mean, doing anything other than acting, that's not necessarily you choosing a career path.
That's you choosing an art.
That's you choosing an outlet, if anything, you know, because it's a creative outlet. You know, people who want to be writers, you know, the idea is like, well, I can't see myself doing anything but writing. But the truth of the matter, what's that guy that we were watching? Brendan, what's his name? Brendan. He writes the Bibles.
Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson. You know,
pretty much Bibles.
He does not write books for a living. All right. He does other things, and then he's allowed to write the books, and he gets paid
because
for it.
Because he does his job.
Yeah, he does his job. What you do is not your job. It just isn't. In fact, he's also a professor.
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, from what he was saying in those videos, like, he's not dependent on the professor job. He's saying
doesn't matter.
I was just saying that, like, one of the things that you always teach is if you're able to give back, you know, do so. Like,
yes.
Even though just listening to some of what he was saying, he doesn't necessarily, at least in those introductory videos, he doesn't really give a lot of detail.
Agreed.
But his motivation for sticking with that class is because he felt that class for him was really important.
Yeah, he wanted to keep the class alive.
And he wanted to keep the class alive.
Yeah.
So I think that motivation is is a pretty good motivation.
Yeah, you think so?
I think so.
So you think he does that job because he does that because he wants to keep that class alive?
I mean, if I'm going by just what I heard him say, then yes.
All right. Do you think there's a chance that he's honing assistants, potential mentees, people he could bring under his wing, maybe guide in the right way and get some kickback from that. Maybe he has a large circle of influence where he can say, I see potential in this person, so I'm going to do an introduction. That introduction leads to more value to his career and
Which
success.
is an expansion on that class. If that class didn't exist, you wouldn't have
It's not about the class, though.
that environment.
It's not about the environment.
Is it about building the relationships?
Everything you do
Must
is
affect everything you
do.
Which I understand.
He's not doing it to keep that class alive. He's doing his job unbeknownst to himself. He does not realize he's doing his job. It's the same thing with writing. If he just wrote all the time, which he does, he doesn't necessarily have a career. In fact, I believe, if we remember, it took him like 10 years before his first real book came out. He said he had like 14 novels before he even had a chance, right?
He said most of them he didn't even like try to submit. He just had them.
He just had them. He was just
but
writing.
That's also something else that you've pointed out many a time. It takes on average 5 to 10 years before anyone gets their quote unquote big break.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. What I'm trying to get to is that even someone as successful as him, he's still doing a job that has nothing to do with writing, right?
The job rewards him the ability to do as much writing it does.
Yeah, and what does that actually mean? Rewarding means that it financially rewards you, right? Your job financially rewards you to do the thing you do passionately. However, what else is it doing? I'm sure he has investments. I'm sure he's increasing his flow of income passively.
You should ask him if he's invested into Doge.
In Doge, but even his books, if he only made 20% of his sales, one hardcover book is $40. So he's making what, $8 on the book, and if he sold 100,000 copies, he just made $800,000. Right? You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of money.
And he's a bestseller. And then, of course, he has his audiobooks. Now, that money fuels him to keep writing. He doesn't have to stop writing to go make money because he's created a foundation and a corporation and a company that ultimately influences the ability to write. But writing does not afford him that right because he had to build a brand. He had to build a name. And what does that mean? Let's say he finished his first album, first book, novel.
His first Bible,
and it got published. I'm sure they gave him a stipend or some sort of money up front where they were like, hey,
because that
he has a dowry.
If 4 hens and a chicken.
And he was like, great, I'll take it. I could definitely eat the hen. Yeah, right.
Well, you said, if I remember correctly, the process, if you do get picked up by a publisher, is that like they'll sign you to like a certain amount of books.
Well, options, but yeah,
that's
it's the same thing as a record label.
And then they give you like the money up front to be like, here.
They'll give you the money up front for the first book, and that'll basically be, they go, hey, here,
live off of this and write.
Yeah, but most people go, oh, I could get a car, and they spend half of it, or they buy a house, and you just, it's not a smart move. It's not a good business move. However, he's getting paid for books, and then he gets paid once that money's recouped. He'll get paid on a book after that, for every book after that. However, they put him on a press tour, and they made him do all these things where someone like Stephen, what's his name, King, he won't do it as much. And, he's very like anti-interview, anti-this, anti-that. And he can be now. But when he was starting, there's no way he did not have there's literal footage of him being interviewed.
Yeah, no, there's like a whole bunch of stuff when he was like
younger.
But I feel like, how old is he now? Like 80 something? Like at this point,
doesn't matter.
He doesn't need to. And he's like, I don't want to get out of my house.
Stephen King, no one cares.
I care.
Well, yeah. Stephen King, greatest writer of his generation.
That was sarcasm.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like when someone says, can you see yourself doing anything else? And then you say, no, I need to be acting or writing or doing music. You're being misled and misdirected, because that's the second part of our statement. Ultimately, success in entertainment is loving what you hate.
I think there's a misdirection with that. It's like people in any career you pick, there's always going to be things that you have to do because that's the real job. And then like the fun part of whatever career you have, that's the reward for doing your job. So I think the question is more of like, can you see yourself in this career?
Well, can you see yourself doing what you hate to make sure your career grows? And the things you hate.
That's a different question, though.
No, because if you choose a career, there's things you have to do.
Agreed.
And you're not going to like everything you have to do.
Agreed.
So if you can see yourself doing things you hate to build your career, then you will be able to do what it is you love doing. And you have to make that choice. And I think it shouldn't be, can you see yourself doing anything else?
So we're looking at the question completely literally and not like philosophically.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Because
then I agree with you. That's a terrible
because I'm
question.
a consultant.
Then that is definitely a terrible question.
It's a terrible question, right? And the thing is, I say you should look at a career and say, am I willing to do the things I hate doing so I could make this a career and get rewarded to do the thing I want to do? In any field of entertainment or any career in general, even as a teacher, there's stuff you have to do that you probably don't want to do. In fact, the majority of the people I meet are introverts, and they're like, I don't like talking to people. If I could find an excuse not to go out, I'm happy. If I could find an excuse not to interact with people on social media, I'm happy. A majority of people in general, especially in the entertainment industry, do not interact positively or share or comment on people's stuff that are, in their mind, rivals, even though they're not, and they might even just be friends. The other thing is you look on social media and it's all about me. And in this case, the royal you. And that's the problem with your career, is like you don't like supporting other people, because if you did, you'd do it. And doing that actually helps your career. That's one small part of doing your actual job, and that's one small part of doing something you hate. But if you can get through that part and you say, you know what, I could do all the crap stuff that I don't really like to become a great actor and make a living as an actor or a musician or anything, you have to ask yourself, does this career align with your values? And that's the thing that's important. Who JD is today is not the same as who JD was back in the day. So JD, back then when you were 14 years old and you're like, I can't see myself doing anything other than writing music.
Back when I had my fuzzy beard mustache.
And not even thinking about the business. You weren't even thinking about the business. You were just like, I just want to play and write music. That's it. Right? And make a living doing that, which is not how you make a living doing that. Those are just things you do, and then people pay you.
Correct.
But not because you're doing it. It's because they chose you.
Because I did all, in theory, you would have done all the stuff that you were supposed to do.
Yeah, and then the people will go, I want you. Not because you're the best guitarist, because honestly, even the greatest guitarist is the worst guitarist to somebody. You know? Be like, I don't like your style of playing. I don't like your tones. I don't like the way you choose chord arrangements. I don't like this. I don't like that.
I don't like the makeup you wear on stage.
Yeah, no matter how much you think Poison is masculine. But you have to say, does this career align with your values? So when you were 14 and you were like, I want to be a guy, what was it about that world that aligned with your values where you were like, yeah, this is who I am?
For me, what made me want to be part of that world was the fact that music just made me feel I guess, complete, if that makes any sense. At risk of sounding really cliche, like music really was very important to me, and just keeping me like a human being and keeping me centered. And
okay, one second.
Okay, I'm 1 second.
Right, it's not doing it. Wait.
What are you doing? What was that?
Here you go. Okay.
I can't hear what it says.
Value. The regard that something is held to deserve the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. A person's principles or standards of behavior. One's judgment of what is important in life. So, I'll ask again. When you decided to be you couldn't see yourself doing anything other than playing guitar and writing music. Did that career path align with your values?
Yes.
And what are those values back then?
Keeping me...
All right, so I'll just read it again. A person's principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life, okay? And then the other thing is the regard that something is held to deserve the importance, worth, or usefulness of something.
It was very important to me to be able to understand my emotions and be able to be emotionally centered, so I wanted to be able to give that back to other people.
So those are your values. Well, how would you give it through music? Lyrically.
It doesn't need to be lyrically.
Well, then
there are classical pieces there's no lyrics at all.
That makes somebody think inside. What was it? You want to feel better?
To dumb it down, yes.
Dumb it down.
Music made me feel good, and I wanted to make people feel good.
So Oh, so it wasn't like. All right, fine. So you have to think to yourself: does a career path align with your values? So in JD's case, it just he needed to feel good, and hopefully other people would feel good, and that was your values
Yes.
to feel good. You wanted to feel good. That was your values.
Sure.
Okay. No other values.
I was 15 or 16.
Okay. All right. So that was basically what you're saying is your values were to make you feel good, and that was important and had worth to it. And if people felt good, that would be good too.
Well, the point was to the drive to want to do that, make music as a career was to make other people feel good because music made me feel good.
That's all I want to know.
Okay.
So does this career align with your values? Does music and the music industry in general make you feel good and make other people feel good?
The music industry made me feel good from what I knew
at 14.
At 14.
Okay. Once you started learning the music industry, did it align with your values? Did it make you feel good? Especially at the time when you could not return a certain product value.
I will answer this with the industry made me feel good.
What?
Some of the people within the industry did not make me feel good.
So in whole, does that align with your values? Knowing that you have truly, especially in the last couple months, seen exactly what I told you about the value of human beings and the interest of artistry.
Yeah, but those are artists. Those aren't professionals.
Some of them are. None of them are. Not even.
Yes.
He's not a professional.
He is.
Oh, he is. All right. So do you retract your statement?
I do not retract my statement because I would lump him more of an artist than a professional.
All right. But does he make a living doing this?
He does.
All right. So he's.
But through a relationship. Because if it wasn't for relationships, he would not have.
Oh, well, how do you become successful in entertainment? No relationships.
No relation.
Does relationships have nothing to do with it?
No, relationships do have.
So that devalues him, or
it does not devalue him.
So why are you saying he's an artist who has relationships and not a professional?
Because he thinks like an artist.
It doesn't matter. Does he make a living?
Then yes, he's a professional. He's not an artist.
Well, I'm just asking. What is the definition of success?
I don't know. Why don't we go over the definition of success?
Making a living within your field of interest. Why do I ask you questions if I have to answer them?
Anyways. I mean, it sounds a lot better when you say it because you have a lot more conviction. You're a lot more animated. Yeah. I'm just here to look, almost pretty.
All right. So you're saying, are you retracting your statement now?
Sure. It has been officially retracted.
Are you saying sure, like you don't believe what you're saying? Do you agree that he makes a living within his field of interest? Does that make him successful?
Yes.
Does he have a day job that has nothing to do with the music industry?
Not that I know of.
All right. So would you say he's successful and a professional?
Yes.
All right. But he does mostly push with artist brain.
Yes.
Which means he doesn't actually know why he's successful,
correct.
Which is a fairly common trait in successful people. They just naturally do things that lead to success, and they don't understand the path. Therefore, it takes longer, or they can't hone it to project themselves or propel themselves into success even quicker, and
then ultimately grow.
All right. So with that said, does this career align with your values now that you're seeing the values of the other people in your business that are in some cases more like-minded than not from you?
I would say the people who are more successful in this industry tend to align with my values.
And who are these people?
I'm not going to go through and name names.
But I mean, in general, like, who are they? Like, what makes them more successful? Like, the fact than people making a living in their field of interest? Because
they are people who are willing to give more of themselves than they're asking people to give to them.
What does that mean?
They selflessly are just like, oh, you know what? You need something here. What do you need? I got you back.
I got you back. All right. Now, that makes you feel good, so that is your value.
To give to people, then yes.
No, you said you wanted to feel good. That was the value of playing music. And you were hoping others felt good listening to your music.
Well, I said that music made me feel good, and I wanted to make people feel good. So
and that was your value.
Is to make people feel good with something that I was familiar with.
Yeah. So, again.
The value is to make people feel good.
Through?
Music.
All right. Specifically,
At 14, yes.
your music.
At 14, yes.
What about now? You don't care how they feel good. You just want to see them feel good.
I mean,
Do you have to
Sure.
be involved?
not necessarily.
All right.
If I can be
Well,
involved,
then
to help
that has
someone,
nothing to
then I
do with
will
the question. The question says, does this career align with your values and not necessarily like Michael Jackson clearly makes people feel good, especially the little kids, right? But does that does that have anything to do with you?
You're asking if Michael Jackson touching little boys has anything to do
Michael
with me?
Jackson making people feel good, does that have anything to do with you and your career?
Not directly, no.
So I'm asking, does this career align with your values? And your values, as stated and not elaborated on, is you like to feel good playing music and you hope other people feel good listening to your music.
At 14,
I'm asking now.
No, now.
Answer the question now.
Then yes, it aligns with my
And what are those values?
to make people feel good.
Oh my God. But you said that's when you're 14. We're talking about now. You just said
I still want
when
to make
I
people
was
feel
14.
good. But you keep adding.
You're not listening to the question.
You're not listening to my answers.
All right. What's your answer?
You were saying specifically when I was 14
No,
to
I'm
my
not.
music.
I'm asking now.
Okay, now take out the my music specifically.
So I'm saying, all right, well, clarify that then.
I want to make people feel good
All right.
because
Through what?
in general, any way I can. I like seeing people happy. I don't like seeing people when they're
Well, how do you
upset or
do
when they're
that in your career?
in my career?
Yeah.
Anyway, helping people when they need it.
Well, what does that? But what does that mean? Like, if you help people like get across the street, does that have to do with the music industry?
Not necessarily, no.
All right.
Am I
Are you
singing while I'm
refusing
doing
that?
it?
I'll just move on if you don't want to answer the question. If you don't understand the question, that's fine
All
too.
right, so then I don't understand the question.
Yeah,
we can move
it's
on.
very difficult. Does this career align with your values? What are your values? And if it's just I like being happy, and I hope other people are happy, that's not necessarily the industry. If you like being happy because of your music and you hope people are happy because of your music and that's your only value, I'm curious to understand why is that your only value?
I've already said that is not what my values are.
What
is when I was
your value?
14.
No, I'm not talking.
Oh, no,
How
no,
old are you right now, JD?
Older than 14.
Then fucking ignore 14.
All right.
3,700 years old now. What are your values now in the industry? How do they connect with you? Not 14. Now, if you say it makes me happy, I'm going to be very angry because I think you're messing with me and I don't like being messed with.
I'm just going to say that I'm not understanding your question and I feel like there's a lack of communication.
But you answered it when you were 14. You can't answer it now?
I did. At least I thought I did, but
you keep saying 14.
Who's on first?
And then I'm saying you're happy, you like playing stupid music and you like people being happy with your stupid music. And you go, when I'm 14.
All right.
You're messing with me now. And
I
don't like it.
I'm not messing with you. We've already established that I'm not understanding the philosophical aspect of
There is no philosophical. Well, what are your values?
I like I don't know what else to say other than to be a good person and help.
Your value is be good and help other people.
Yes.
That's it.
Well, yes.
Is that now?
Yes.
And there are no other values in your life.
To sum everything up, that's it. Those are the guiding factors to everything that I try to do in my life.
To be a good person.
And to make people feel good.
All right. Now, how does that align with your career in music?
Because I try to help people. I try to help make people feel good. I try to be a good person.
With your music?
With everything. We're
not asking about that, though.
Within my career. So it's not just with my music.
How do you help them within your career?
I can introduce people to...
Okay, see, now you're answering the question.
Well, you wouldn't let me get to that point.
Oh my God, there's no way that's true. Let's listen. I just want to rewind the audio.
We don't need to rewind.
You sure? Because you're telling me every time you stopped.
Well, every time I got to that, we're moving on. I want to introduce people to other people. I want to create a circle of friends, people that genuinely connect with each other. I want to help people bring projects to life.
Yeah.
I want to help raise money for charities. You know, I can keep going on.
I got you. Anyway. When you're talking about career and how it aligns with your values, if you're inside a career that does not align with your values, whatever that might be, which you should understand because it does affect one little thing, your brand. If you don't know your values, then you don't know how to utilize your brand within that industry. If your brand is, let's say, hypothetically, to help people, right? And you're surrounded by people who refuse to help other people, then are you actually in the right career path?
No, that just means you need to change the people that are around you.
Is that true?
Yes.
So let's say you want to be an actor, okay? And every opportunity you find yourself in, people are just being there because they want their career to succeed, and they don't actually care about helping you unless it influences them. You should stop talking to them.
No.
Well, I'm just trying to understand what you were saying then. And I'm not going to interrupt. You're going to say, and once you stop talking.
Well, one of the most important lessons that you have taught me, because there's a lot of important lessons, was that the 5 people, basically the people that you keep closest to you are the most influential in your life. So if your personal beliefs are to be giving and to help other people, you want to surround yourself mostly and spend most of your time with people who share similar influences. This way you can influence each other to keep building on those personality traits. So you should still be polite. You should still be cordial. You should still be supportive of other people, but do not invest much of your time to people who are just going to be greedy. I am done with my statement. Roger, Roger, over and out.
So should you not talk to those people?
I didn't say that.
I'm asking.
You should still talk to those people. I mean, unless someone is like really mean, decides to like push your grandmother down the stairs, then yeah, stop talking to that person. Probably call the police.
So if you're surrounded by a group of people who don't necessarily help one another because they're only helping you because it betters their career, you should still talk to them, but don't give them all your time, is what you're saying.
If they interact with you, sure. Be polite.
All right. What if you keep working on sets as an actor and you keep running into the same group of people because that's where the work is?
All right. So then you're polite with them. You don't have to go out to hang out with them out of work.
All right. Let's say you work at a supermarket.
All right.
Okay. And you want to be a manager one day in that supermarket.
Okay.
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 And you find out that the owners and the bosses and most of the upper management do not like helping each other or other people because it's all about their success and them getting their own store one day. Would you stay in that career?
No.
Why not?
Because it seems like it's a very unhealthy place to be.
So you're saying that you wouldn't be cordial and just work with them?
I would leave the career, but I would still be cordial if I ran into them outside.
So you would leave that career, but you wouldn't leave the acting career?
Well, you're implying that all actors and all people within the acting field are like that.
Now, you're implying that all managers and business owners are like that.
I would leave that store.
But you would go to another store that's with that same business?
I mean, if I wanted to be in that career field, then yes, I wouldn't. The way you worded the question, you made it sound like I would just stick, like the store itself was a metaphor for the entire industry. It
is.
Well, if there's an option to go to a different store, then I would go to a different store to become a manager at that store.
All right. Anyway, is the position interesting and challenging? I would say, is it? Because if you're doing something that bores the hell out of you, you can't really do it. You know, it's just not really conducive to living. If you're just doing things to do it, and you're basically either in a mundane situation, which is always boring because it's mundane. That's what mundane means.
Not mudvayne, mundane.
No, not mudvayne. It's I would rather have a mundane existence than listen to Mudvayne. But anyway,
you'd rather a mundane existence than Mudvayne existence.
Let's see. Is this an environment you can be productive in? Can you be productive in this work environment? So how do you influence the work environment? You know, can you see yourself not being productive, especially in the beginning, until you eventually work your way up to being productive? Because that's a lot of work, right? Okay. I'm just doing the show by myself right now.
I'm trying to understand the question. Are you saying to be lazy and then not do anything, and then like, oh, things are happening, let me do work? Is that what you're saying?
No, sometimes you can't do anything because you're limited by your education or your skill level, and people are like, well, go move those wires. And you're like, I could do that. And then, you know, are you being productive? Is it interesting and challenging at that point?
Well, being productive with building your career isn't just, you know, tasks on set. It's also about practicing, all the other stuff outside to run yourself like a business. It's building relationships with people. Bunch of other stuff now that you're staring at me blankly. So it's not just like, oh, pick up the cable and put it over there.
I'm just waiting for you to finish talking so I know you got everything out, because I don't want to get into a situation where you go, I was just about to say that.
All right, well, I am done.
All right, that's
Over.
all I just need. You should have a thing that just you hold it up. Done. But then anything I say after that, you can't say, well, I was going to say that, but you stopped me.
I'll get like a little bell. This way it goes into like the audio of this as well. Ding.
I wish you would, because it would definitely make it easier to prove my points.
Okay.
Than proving a point and then you going, I was, that exact thing that I've never heard of in my entire life. I was just about to say those identical words that were floating around in your brain, and then, but you stopped me. So I feel I didn't get my words out.
Okay.
Anyway, do you want to tackle what I said, or you want to move on?
To be completely honest, I forgot what we're talking about because we went off on the bell thing. Ding.
Okay. All right. Excellent. What I was saying is you said, and of course, obviously, you were finished talking. So I'm just going to reiterate what you said.
Please.
Just so I know what you said. You said being productive isn't just doing tasks; it's also
tasks on set.
Tasks on set. So offset, you can do tasks.
Yes.
Okay. So tasks offset are about being productive, but tasks on set are not.
No, doing anything involving doing anything involving building your career is productive.
All right. Going back. Wait.
Ding.
Okay. So you said being productive on set isn't necessarily doing tasks on set isn't necessarily being productive.
No, that's not what I said.
Okay, say what you said.
I said doing menial you said being productive, you might not feel like you're being productive. You can't be productive because your knowledge is limited. So someone might just be like, here, move that box,
Yeah.
Just doing those tasks
on set.
Okay. Being limited to those tasks isn't the only thing you have to be doing in order to build your career. Well, you're on set. One of the biggest things that you have to do is to build relationships with the people that you're working with. That is being productive. Moving the box, okay, it has to get done, but it's not necessarily like productive for your career. It's productive for in the moment. Building relationships with everyone else, that is productive. So you are being productive. So my question originally was, are you talking about just doing the bare minimum until like things start happening? Or are you saying, oh, I'm just doing like these little things?
So I asked, basically what I'm presenting as the proposition is that sometimes you don't have the skill set or knowledge or even the basic understanding of your industry, because most people jump into an industry without actually understanding the process of its intricate weavings. And they invest a lot of time and money into that, which is irresponsible investing. And you'll get into a situation where they go, well, you don't really know what you're doing here, so why don't you just move those wires to there? And then I recall you saying that you don't have to necessarily do that on set to be productive.
I was unclear with what I was saying, and I apologize. I was saying that being in that situation is not being that situation is not unproductive. It is still productive because you're still building relationships. That's what I was trying to say.
But can you be productive in that situation?
Yes, because you can talk to people.
Is it interesting and challenging?
Well, if you don't like the people that you're working with, you can try going to a different set potentially. You can try working on a different production. If you find that you don't like that lifestyle and you're bored still, then no, it is not productive.
What do people have to do with the moving wire? I asked if that was interesting and challenging.
Well, then that is a question that, that's a different question that I was understanding from what you were asking.
Can you hit the thing? Okay. Anyway, so then I started saying, does that mean I was trying to understand what you were saying with the productive, doing a task is productive, and you said you interrupted me and said on set to make sure that I understood that you were talking about on set. So then I was curious because I was confused, and I says, does that mean off a set? If you're doing tasks, menial tasks, that's productive.
All right. Are you asking? Is the original question? Yeah. The original question. Are you asking if doing moving wires in boxes is boring? Is that the question?
So the subject of today's show, just so I can clarify it with everybody, including JD, is: can you see yourself doing anything else? If the answer is yes, then go do that, right? But more importantly, to take away the faux pas of that, the misleading evidence of terrible advice, which is, if you love what you're doing, then keep doing it. But the reality is, do you love doing the things you hate so you can grow your career? But in that, you should be asking yourselves, the royal selves, in the interest of growth to a career, there's a lot that goes on that you have to really think about, because you're going to be doing things you don't want to do. And in some cases, you have to say to yourself, is the position of my career right now interesting and challenging? And am I willing to do it? Am I willing to hate it? Love hating what I do, going, all right, I don't really like moving wires and I'm not really being productive, but can I learn to love this? Can I get through this to get to the next level? That's what the show's about. So I'm asking questions that are basic misleading statements. Is the position interesting and challenging? Well, the truth of the matter is moving wires is not interesting and challenging, but does that mean you should stop pursuing your career?
Not at all.
Yeah, no, I know that. But you were saying move on if you don't like the set, the people, and I'm like, we're just talking about moving things right now. I have it on tape.
You do have it on tape?
Yeah. All right.
Well, digital.
I have it on digital. So a lot of things I'm going to be asking are going to be confusing in my responses, because you're going to be answering it based on what you know, and what you know is only what you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
That's right, G.I. Joe. So obviously we're going to get into situations where you're answering abstractly to more in-depth discussions, things, again, what does it mean to be in a position where it's interesting and challenging? There's no way you're going to be doing something you don't like doing and you're going to think this is interesting and challenging. You're going to be like, I wish I was just acting right now. Why can't I be doing the lines? Why can't I be the lead? Why do I have to be background? Or why do I have to pick up wires and move the wire over to here? Right? Same thing with music. When you first started the music industry, you didn't start seeing money until you started doing things you didn't want to do. You didn't want to be a puppet. You didn't want to be a gopher. You didn't want to be, these are things you weren't passionate about, where you're like, these values, this career path aligns with my values to help people, even though they weren't helping you. They were using you. But that's okay, because that's how business works. When you work for someone, they're going to use you. There's no way you work at a supermarket and they're like, how can I help your career? Because even if they say that, they go, great. In 1 year, you show me you're the best, and I'll give you a promotion. And then you get a little promotion because you learn how to pack quickly. You learn how to do cash register. You learn how to do the back, the receiving. You learn how to do the deli. And they're like, great. We didn't give you a raise yet, but in a year, trust me, I'm going to give you. They're not helping you.
They're not.
They're guiding you to do things they need to get done that they don't, because they're delegators, right? But a true manager, a true leader, understands the responsibility by making the choice to be responsible for others and be responsible for things that have to get done, not just delegating. Anyway, so in that situation, I do not believe, because I'm trying to prove that you're wrong, because you are wrong, as if everybody's wrong. When you go, well, I like doing music because it makes me feel good and I want people to feel good. Yeah, but that's not, that you're going to run into situations where that's not true. You're going to run into people go, your music made me want to throw up.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be like, do you stay in the career or do you give up?
I stay in it.
But you stop talking to that person?
No.
All right. But earlier you said stop talking to them. Just be cordial.
Then yes. Then I was mistaken with my statement that I said.
And you should be. And that's the point. You're the artist. I'm the consultant. And this is how an artist thinks. And there's nothing wrong with that if you don't want a career. because you can't just be like, well, I'm not going to talk to those people anymore, or I'm just going to be cordial. There's moments you're going to hate in your career choice that do not fit your values. They just don't. There's no way you're ever going to be in a situation. Luckily for you, you only have two values. You want to feel joy, which also emits joy. And what was the other one? You want to help people. That's it. So you're in a situation where you might be in a situation to the situation you want to be in, situationally speaking, that you will find somebody.
But wait, will the situation be there?
The situation will be there showing his situation.
Oh, God.
And you will find yourself surrounded by joy and people helping each other, because it could just be you or you and one other person. So, yes, you're in a good situation where your values do align with your career choice. But the point is, that's a lie. And when people say, well, you shouldn't be if you're not in a position where your direction in your career does not align with your values, is this really the career you want to be in? And again, that leads us to the misconception of, if you can't see yourself doing anything else, do something else. Because they're telling you, you have to love what you do. But the problem is, you also have to love what you hate. You have to get through the crap, or you won't have a career. There's no way you're going to get through this career, and everyone you meet, they're going to be like, I feel joy from you, and I appreciate your help.
I 100% agree with that statement.
All right. But earlier, which is fine, I don't think you understood the statement. And
I definitely I interpreted the question in a different way than you were intending. So therefore, that led to a very heated debate.
Because I felt like you were completely fucking with me.
I was not. Again, I misunderstood what you were trying to tell me. Well, and I think that we did not have a clear communication. But that is, in the past at this point.
Can you hit the dinger?
It broke.
So I can talk?
It broke.
All right, you're done?
I'm done.
All right. Well, but the thing is,
I 100% agree with you, by the way. With, you have to do things that you don't necessarily love.
All the time.
All the time.
To do the thing you love.
Exactly.
But with that said, going back to the reality of it is like, were you answering those questions in a way that, like, is this the right answer? Or were you answering it based on what I was saying? Because I feel that's where maybe the misdirect was.
I think we've already established that you and I do not communicate well sometimes.
Well, Einstein, he had a very small group of friends.
I mean,
also, Einstein was known to place somebody in the audience that could answer a question better than he could. So it took pressure off of him being the smartest person in the room. You know that?
That's funny. I did not know that.
Yeah, I do that too. Anyway, moving on. Now, just because I explained the show to you and I basically pulled the curtain out because I realized the show was going nowhere, I want you to continue answering honestly and not to appease the subject matter. Does that make sense?
Yes. I'll pretend you didn't say nothing.
All right. Can I move forward? Do you want to ding it?
It broke.
Well, how am I going to know you finished? I don't want to get into a situation where you're like, I was just about to talk about quantum physics.
Well, if you want, if I feel like you're going to cut me off, I'll just keep going and you can talk over me.
Well, don't do that. It's radio.
Oh, wait, what?
You're supposed to stop when someone talks. Anyway, can you be productive in the work environment? Does this career allow for the lifestyle you want? So I'm not going to say it's a misconception. I'm going to ask you, does before really joining me in my escapades, did the music industry or your career in music allow for the lifestyle that you wanted?
I thought that it did, and my understanding at the time when I was like a 14, 15-year-old kid.
All right, but what about now?
Now,
before meeting me, but now,
before,
before joining my escapades.
I always had the feeling, or I always had the what I thought was the understanding that it was going to be basically, not the most financial the most financially rewarding up until you hit the magic plateau.
Mhm.
And but at the same time, I also didn't really understand where the money came from until I met you.
Yeah. Where
I
does the
just-
money come from?
Little trees that are watered by leprechauns.
The French.
Oui,
We
baguette,
definitely doesn't come from Israel. Though.
croissant.
They got no, aren't they? Didn't they just go bankrupt? They
Israel?
barely were paying people like money for the
I don't know.
COVID.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely were not paying
Yeah.
people.
And don't they have like walls that are falling down
Uh,
because they've been up for like a couple thousand years?
yeah, like London Bridge was falling down as well.
Yeah, but who
Wait,
cares
what?
about London Bridge?
Londoners?
Yeah, but we're talking about Israel.
True.
Israel. Do you think they go around and like, let's fix these clay houses
Hey,
as a government, you know?
they're like, oh wait, we don't have bricks, but we can use dreidels. They're also made of clay.
Why does your house look like a dreidel? Well, we know how to make clay, and this is the only thing we know how to design with clay. All right.
Oh wait, how do you lock the door? We just spin it around.
Here we spin. Now that's productive.
Oh god.
Anyway, what kind of lifestyle were you looking to have with music?
Ah man, that's a really good question.
I know.
Up until I met you, I didn't really think about a lifestyle per se, other
Yeah.
than just getting by. Mainly because growing up, I didn't really have the most financially stable environment. So I always my concern
So why didn't you leave?
because I was like
You were just being
12.
cordial. So you dealt with what you didn't like, so you could grow up.
True.
Okay. Just putting the point home.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
did.
So you thought the lifestyle would be like a normal job, which is you work, you get paid, you spend the money. You work, you get paid, you spend the money.
Basically.
But music, quote unquote, I'm saying it as an artist,
Mhm.
music is far and few between. You play a show maybe once a week, or maybe you go on tour for 2 months.
Well, I thought at the time, that no, it's like, oh, you basically you go on tour, you get paid to tour, people buy your merch, people buy your album, you make money.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you also make money from radio streams.
Radio streams.
So I thought it was like, oh, that just happens all the time. So you end up getting paid all the time. And until you basically took away the curtain, we're like, this is how it works. And I was like, oh, it is not even close to what I thought was going on.
Yeah, but that's not really a lifestyle. The lifestyle is the way you live,
Yeah, no, I understand. So what I'm saying is like, I kind of expected to have that, that steady paycheck, but I wasn't expecting it to be anything grandiose until, again, like we hit a magic plateau when people just started throwing, diamond encrusted underwear at us. What's this for? Going to the bathroom.
We keep losing the invisible singer. Why? He gets hit with the diamond underwear.
Oh my eye.
Why did he have a mic in the center of the stage? Because
It's
John was unavailable.
why is it diamond encrusted?
I don't know.
So that's basically how I thought it worked.
Anyway,
Obviously, I was wrong.
a lifestyle is ultimately the way that you wish to live. It's not necessarily a living. A lifestyle might be, I want to live my life with this kind of house, these kind of luxuries. I want to enjoy this. I just want to write music all the time, or I just want to act all the time, right? And even musicians don't write all the time. They can't. Their career would fall away. They would, unless you're a Paul McCartney or
Prince.
Metallica,
And you
who,
have,
by the way, is still writing music, but they're also doing award shows. They're doing. I mean, Metallica goes on Howard Stern. James Hetfield. He does movies. He does.
Yeah.
If you think your career is based on you doing what it is you love, that would be your lifestyle. If I could just play music all day, that's a lifestyle, right? And that's the thing. Does this career allow for that lifestyle you want? And the answer is going to be no. You may have stints where you can live the lifestyle you want because your wealth has been developed and you created a strong foundation, and you have passive income, which is created by diversifying your money into assets, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean your lifestyle. Even millionaires and billionaires, they're not living the lifestyle they want. Why is that?
Because they have to do their job.
They have to do their job, which isn't necessarily going to an office, but their job now at their level is dealing with fundraising and dealing with politicians and dealing with helping people. Because if they don't help people, You know, they have to pay a lot more taxes. You know, there's a different world on different levels of different income, right? And even with your career starting out versus, you know, being a professional versus being like, you know, a celebrity professional versus, and even celebrities could be broke. You know, there are celebrities that people are like, oh my God, and then they're broke, right? Because they didn't create a foundation, they didn't diversify.
They basically just go, here's the paycheck, put it in, spend the money.
Yeah, and you know, that's insane. However, does this career allow for the lifestyle you want? And the answer will always be no. And you have to be willing to accept that. There will be times when it will, but that isn't guaranteed all the time. Look at Johnny Depp. All right. He's now fighting the whole thing. And we're not even going to get into the details of that. But ultimately, he has to pay $2 million a month for his lifestyle. And if he's losing work, that lifestyle is going to go away. Nicolas Cage ended up losing a lot of money because he had to pay taxes. He bought castles. He had to sell them. Wesley Snipes went to jail because he had trouble paying taxes because he was his money was misled by people he hired to be responsible for that. And that's the reason why you should know outside fields at a minimum to understand what's going on,
just to make sure that, you know, things are not things are in order and you're not getting screwed over.
You don't need to be a master CPA to check over someone's work. You just have to go, all right, well, how do taxes work? And then you just look over the numbers quick, but you don't have to do what they're doing. You just have to, all right, everything looks on the up and up, you know? But if you're like, well, where's this money going? And they'd be like, what money? And you're like, well, it's allocated that this money was put. I don't remember ever doing that.
Why is there a big chunk that says $50 million?
$50 million CPA.
What the hell?
Who the hell? Anyway, my point is, asking yourself, does this career allow for the lifestyle you want, isn't necessarily a dictation to what you saying yay or nay to the career. You know, if you want to be an actor or musician or writer, your lifestyle is not going to be the thing you want. It just won't be. I know people who are millionaires who can't relax at home. They just can't, because they're maintaining this growth in their life. It's the same thing with a musician. If you're like, well, I'm making money with my music, you're gonna one day not make money with the music, and your career isn't growing. You have to always be growing your career, because you should be getting higher and higher on the control factor, so you can help people. Because if you help people, then you could take them under your wing, and then their existence fuels your existence, right? And now it's like a cohesive kind of thing, right?
Like, I think Jamie Foxx is a really good example of someone who he just does so many different things within entertainment and outside of entertainment. And Robert De Niro as well. But
it's not just those things. It's a sense of like, Jamie Foxx owns a production company. He also owns a record label, and he owns other things. And he actually has artists that he represents, and he has movies he represents. And if you notice, he went from being a comedian to now he's an owner. And the owner not only makes money, but he's helping people become successful, but he's also making money off of this success. Again, which comes down to your value will never be respected, because he's using those people for his growth, even though he's helping them. He doesn't have to help them.
It doesn't.
But because it helps him, he's helping them, which isn't technically helping someone, right? Because helping someone should be selfless, right? You should just be like, well, here you go. Let me help you. Right? Like when I let people use my theater for free, I made no money on it. That's helping people. You should be in that position where you get nothing. But in a position where you don't get anything from it. Sometimes that's okay, because that's part of the deal. If you have the power, you should be able to help people. That has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with politics. It's just
being a good person and helping the world grow.
Yeah. If you don't help people, it's just, it's a terrible, terrible thing.
You should be kicked in the shins.
Yeah. So help me. All right. Anyway,
he kicks really hard, and he got new shoes, so watch out.
Yeah.
You got new kicks.
Yeah. Kicks? You mean like the cereal?
I love kicks.
Yeah, I noticed. I've seen you do your little dances outside.
Wait, what?
The high kicks.
Oh yeah.
Is it
Listen, I gotta practice my chorus line.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. And he has the greatest music player, and it's like
on an old phonograph as well, on a wax cylinder.
All right. Will you feel professionally satisfied, JD? Do you feel when you were like very consistent in the music industry, did you feel professionally satisfied at all moments?
No.
Well, then why would you stay in that career? Shouldn't you leave that career? It says you should feel professionally satisfied, but you didn't.
I didn't.
But you kept going, right? You didn't just stop.
Correct.
And why didn't you stop?
Because I think it's impossible for any human being to be completely satisfied all of the time.
I know. I've seen your girlfriends.
Mm-hmm. And
well, I'm just saying they walked out, just wanting tea.
Listen, you gotta have your tea.
Hey, can I just get some coffee? Did you just go in there?
What the hell?
What the
That was only 30 seconds.
he was like, I want to draw on your passions. And he took out a pen and paper, and I was like, what is he doing? And I was like, oh, he's making a pun. And then he just started drawing me like one of his French girls. And I was like, I'm out of here. And then I was like, you got coffee. And that's how we got here.
You can eat that.
Anyway, what were you saying? Feeling professionally satisfied. And you're saying
well, so what made me keep going?
Yeah.
I guess the promise of doing more, and the fact that majority of the time I was doing more things that I enjoyed than more things that I didn't enjoy.
So when you didn't enjoy it, did you feel joy?
No.
Did the people around you feel the joy radiating over you?
I mean, probably not.
Did you elevate people with your joy?
I mean, not all of them.
Did you feel used, or like they were helping you and you were helping them?
There were times when at the beginning where I felt it was a mutual helping, but near the end it was more I felt like I was being used rather than appreciated.
Yeah. Now, what if I told you it was that way the whole time, except
I didn't see.
You had friends. You felt they were friends. All right. But yet you kept going, and that's my point. Even if your values are not being met, or you don't feel professionally satisfied, or you don't feel productive, or whatever. Sometimes it's not interesting and challenging. Sometimes you're just sitting and hiding from other actors so they don't talk to you because you don't want to be successful. And you put your headphones on, you read a book, and meanwhile you have the opportunity to build and cultivate relationships.
Take a nap.
Why would I do that? I don't know. Maybe you're sitting next to literally the next Robert De Niro. You just don't believe they are because they're starting at the same level you are. Robert De Niro is friends with Joe Pesci. The reason Joe Pesci exists is because Robert De Niro brought Joe Pesci to his friend Martin Scorsese and says, you need to cast him in Raging Bull. Friendship. that's literally, Joe Pesci would not exist in the capacity that he did
if it weren't for that.
If it wasn't for his friend.
If I remember correctly, didn't Joe Pesci originally want to be a singer? Because he has a couple albums out that he...
Maybe. I don't know if he wanted to be a singer, but he probably wanted to just be an entertainer,
I know he definitely has like some recordings that he's done in like the past.
Did they make you feel good?
I have not listened to them.
Oh, so what you're saying is you don't want to support other people because of their emotional endeavors. So you just want to help people that'll help you.
No, not at all.
Well, you could help him by celebrating his accomplishments.
I am going to celebrate his accomplishments.
By not listening to his music. All right, fair enough. All right. So are you willing to do things you hate to succeed in a career you love?
Am I? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, now that I've explained it, I'm sure you're going to say yes. But before I had to break it down and layman it, would you say that, because a lot of your answers would contradict what you just said now, because some of your answers was, well, I would probably try to get them out of my circles and I would just be cordial. Other things was, well, I would move out of that store and I'd go to a different store or a different company, right? Or hey, I don't really like moving wires from here to there. I'm just going to find a new set. By the way, it's not that easy. That's like your parents going to you and go, hey, there's a show. You should totally get on it. Or like, you'd be good if you got a Grammy. You should get a Grammy and you'll be successful. That's basically what you were saying when you're like, well, just find another set, right? Yeah. So according to what you had said earlier, what you just said now is a contradiction, which is something I pointed out before we move forward. I was like, don't just answer it based on what the conditions of the proposition is. I wanted you to answer it honestly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, now you're answering it based on being educated through the show and me explaining what the purpose of everything is.
Or we have uncovered a thing where people say contradictory answers because people have contradictory beliefs, because people are, a lot of these questions, we've already established earlier in the show that you're you're answering them in a very literal aspect, whereas some people might see that question and think a bit more of a philosophical thing. So you could run into the situation where people are answering different questions in different capacities, and therefore you can get contradictory answers.
You gonna hit the bell
It broke, remember?
so I can talk?
You can talk whenever you want.
You're done?
I'm done.
You have anything to add to that?
Nope.
Okay. So were you answering these questions philosophically or literally, and or were you answering them at the beginning philosophically and then choosing halfway through the conversation to go literal?
Yes, to all of that.
All right. Well, I was asking literally, and then you answered literally until my evidence to the pushback made you go to philosophical, because you literally said, well, when I was 14, I just wanted to feel joy with my music, and I wanted people to feel joy with my music, which is literal.
I pointed out when I was 14 is because I understood the conversation to be switching time periods from 14-year-old JD to now JD. So whenever I brought up 14-year-old JD, I was making that distinction.
This is why we get into trouble, because he's talking about something that has nothing to do with what I just said.
Well, to answer the question at hand, I personally am willing to do things that I don't necessarily enjoy or like in order to further my career.
All right. Now what he's doing is he's moving past the question at hand. What I was asking was, were you answering it philosophically, even though your first answer
there were
was
some
literal?
Questions that I was answering philosophically, and there were some questions that I was answering literally.
Yeah, but when you brought that up originally, you were asking, well, are you presenting these philosophically or literally? But you're just saying when you were saying you like to have the joy of music and the people to get joy from music, that was literal, or was that philosophical?
I mean, that is both, because I literally enjoy that, and it's also philosophical because I believe that everyone should be a good person and want to help other people.
All right, let's look up philosophical, because I don't think you're using it right now.
Well, then maybe I'm not using it correctly. Philistinial?
Philistinial?
The Philistines?
Didn't
they have like those bronze swords or whatever, and chariots and horses?
Right, because I feel like the way you're answering is not necessarily both physical, literal and philosophical. Relating or devoted to the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence, having or showing a claim out, attitude, word, disappointments, or difficulties. Yeah, you were not expressing a philosophy in your statement. You were being literal.
All right, then I was being literal.
All right, so now I'm confused.
Apparently, I'm confused as well.
All right, so basically, when I asked you what your values were, you said to bring to have joy of music and to bring joy to others. That's literal. Philosophical would be, how's that done? Joy, the concept of joy would ultimately be that people smile or introspectively find themselves at a comfort due to the melodic movement of stylings that could potentially be heavy or clean. Like, now we're getting to philosophical answers. We're expanding on the thought process. But you were being literal. You were saying, I want to feel joy, and I want others to feel joy from my music. Right?
The way you stated that was the intention of 14-year-old JD.
We're not talking about ages.
Well, no, because it's very... You adding my music is very distinctive of 14-year-old JD. And JD today.
Was that literal or philosophical?
That was literal.
Okay. Then why, during that discussion, did you ask me if I was being literal or philosophical?
I don't remember at this point, because there was something specifically, literally, that you said that triggered me to ask that question. But I do not recall at this point in time.
Go ahead and hit the button. I just want to make sure I can talk without getting the... I was just about, but you didn't let me finish. Now, we both know I have a better memory than you.
Correct, but you've also already stated that things that are said and sound sometimes do not stick to the photographic memory.
Do you notice I'm watching the screen?
Yes.
You know why I'm doing that?
So that you can remember the pictures?
So the pictures become the emotional recall of the moment.
Mhm.
So it allows me to see the photo. I look at the photo in my head, and I can recall the entire aspect of that situation, especially in a short-term scenario, since short-term memory has nothing to do with long-term recollection.
Okay.
Just look at the screen. Holy crap.
I wish there was a ghost.
Do you see the window? There's a window. Beep, beep, beep.
What?
I was hitting the window. Look.
Beep, bing, 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 bing.
Bing, 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 bing.
Check, please.
Look what. It's like I'm in a video game. No matter, you just lightly touch it, it's the loudest. You walk. You walk slow.
Are you still able to sneak up on people?
Because their light is not shining on you.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, quick, get the box.
Anyway, all right, that's it for the show. That was good.
That was good.
That was good. Did you learn anything?
I mean, I learned that 2 + 2 sometimes equals bagel.
You know, in some cases, that bagel is a delicious color.
Oh man, it totally is, especially purple.
Oh my God, right? Purple. That's a color.
Wait, what?
Purple technically is not a color.
Oh, what is it?
Well, it is. I mean, you could identify it as a color. If you research it, you'll see that it is a color, but it is not a color that's derived by the
It's not a prime color. So are you saying that like prime colors are?
Because we can't see purple.
I know.
Our eyes are being tricked by taking 2 colors. It's the only one that's on the Roy G. Biv that is not surrounded by, purple is the last color, like violet's the last color on, Biv.
Yeah.
V. And all the other ones, if you take the 2 surrounding colors and put them together, you get that color. Unless it's a prime color, then it just exists as the color. That's why Roy, red. It doesn't have one behind it, but a violet we can't see. It's not something we can see. That's why when you look at a rainbow, you don't really see the violet, right?
Interesting.
However,
well, because wouldn't it
mm-hmm.
instead of having it in a straight line, if you put it in a wheel, it connects because you have blue connecting to red. Correct? Roy G. Biv.
Yeah.
Red ending with violet, which goes back into red.
So red and violet is red.
Red and blue is purple.
It is purple, but we can't see purple. It's red and blue.
Yes, it is.
But it's not. We're not seeing purple.
We're seeing red and blue together.
Yeah. Right. Is it blue? Is blue then Biv? Biv.
Yeah.
No, BIV. Right. Biv.
Yeah. Blue, indigo, violet.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's indigo and red make violet. But however, we're still not seeing purple. We're seeing indigo and red. Also, theoretically speaking, if you want to get philosophical and not literal, we don't see any color. What we see is every color but that color, except for black and white. Black, we see all colors.
And white we see no colors.
No colors.
Oh wait, no. Isn't it the other way around? Because black absorbs the light, so we're not getting anything reflected.
Exactly. Black absorbs all colors. And white reflects all colors. So we are not seeing any colors. In fact, I'll point it out. A plane that is painted white weighs less than a plane that's painted black. Why?
Because the light's being absorbed into the painting.
Nope. Because the airplane that has white on it has less matter and mass because it takes more colors to make black. So there's more involved in it. That's a true thing. In fact, the black will make a jumbo plane need more fuel. Now, the reason they do white instead of primer is because it actually costs more money to maintain cleaning the blank metal from rust and
Yeah.
But if you paint it white, it's easier to wash down a plane than it is to have to always go back and fix the rusting.
That makes sense.
Yeah. See, I learned something today.
I learned something today as well.
I was just gonna say that.
You did. I copied you. I mimicked you.
He did. I feel like you don't mimic me. You hear me and then go, you know what I liked about that? This little part right here. This little part. I'm gonna keep that. I like that he said white and black. So when I tell this story, it's gonna be like, did you know planes can be painted white and black?
It's not even close to what I was talking about.
And you're like, but you said it. I go, yes, I know I said it, but I was talking about the weight of the. I was just about to say that, but you cut me off. JD doesn't like playing when I say things like this.
I am playing.
You're playing silent.
I'm contemplating the philosophical meaning behind the literal words.
You're playing Anne. What's her name? What's the Jew that hit in the?
Oh, Anne Frank.
Yeah, you're playing Anne Frank. Which, by the way, she could talk.
She could. Are you talking about Helen Keller?
Helen Keller is the one who's blind and deaf.
Yeah, that's Helen.
No,
Keller.
that's who I. Yeah, you're Helen Keller in me.
Who said that? I can't see.
But she could talk. Did you know that?
Yeah, she learned how to talk eventually.
But there's actual footage of her. There's video of her.
Yeah, 'cause she was the 20s, 1920s, maybe.
I don't know. She probably doesn't even know. No one showed her a calendar.
I mean, she's dead.
Is she? No. I was just gonna say that. You make me feel like I don't know anything.
What?
Anyway, so ask yourself, can you see yourself doing anything else? But more importantly, if you want success in doing that thing, you can't see yourself doing anything else. In entertainment, you must learn to love what you hate, because there are lots of stuff that's involved in career growth that you're not going to like. Does that mean you should ignore your boundaries? Not at all. If you have certain boundaries, obviously stand up to those boundaries, inform those boundaries, and respect your own boundaries as well as other people's boundaries. Don't think your boundaries outweigh other people's boundaries.
Yeah, don't be rude.
Yeah, don't be rude, but don't allow their boundaries to outweigh yours. Yeah.
Have respect for one another.
Yeah, have a minimum. Be cordial.
Yeah.
Even though you're trying to find a new set. Hey, can I get on another set? Look, I'm not liking this set. Who are you? I'm a PA. Oh, you're a PA? Yeah. I'm sorry. No one even cares about you. In fact, you get paid $10 an hour, and there's like 4 of you, and we always send 3 home. You don't know?
No, I've never.
You've never been a PA? You made more money as a background actor than you did a PA.
Yeah, I've never been a PA.
You should try to be a PA.
I mean,
you got a good back right now.
I do have a good back right now.
Yeah, put 2-3 years into that. Maybe a decade.
Oh my God,
you won't have a back. You'll be like, I'm a PA. I'm a head PA.
I have a wheelchair, everyone. How old are you? 14.
What's the most common thing PAs say?
Hold on, wait. Let me guess.
There you go.
On set, out like.
Yeah, on set, working.
Out my back.
No. They say, but the AD said. That's real. PAs have the unfortunate experience of having too many bosses, too many hens in the too many roosters in the hen house, where like someone would be like, hey, go get these wires, and as they're going to get the wires, someone's like, can you get me this thing? And it's someone completely new that's also higher than them, and they're like, all right, and then they'll get the thing, and then they'll be like, where were you? And I'm like, oh, I had to get this for so and so, but I asked you to get the thing. And then they're like, oh, but the AD told me to get the thing. Well, yeah, but if I give you an order, you do my thing first, forget theirs. And then you have to tell the AD. And then the AD says, no. If I tell you to do something first, you do what I told you to do. And then you get $10 an hour. Worst.
But at least it's crafty.
Ever. There is crafty. Well, not anymore. I think they changed the system of crafty.
Oh my God. Stupid COVID.
Because of COVID. However, to be... I believe to get into the director's program to join the union, assistant something, and then there's like.
Is that for producers as well? Or is that just?
No, you could be a producer tomorrow, but you have to.
I mean, like for like.
Oh, for the union? No, for the union, you get points per like project you do,
gotcha.
And how you're on that as a producer, and then you have to pay money for it.
Why is it that why is it you don't have to be you don't have to put in PA hours for a producer, but you do have to directors, because director is more hands-on, like in the moment like that? Or
well, a producer and a director are completely different entities.
I understand. my question is, why is it that the director requires on-set experience in order to get into the union, whereas the producer does not?
Well, I'll explain that to you in a second, but I'd like to use comprehensive thinking for a second. Would you have to learn how to be a mechanic if you were going to be, let's say, a car engineer to design cars?
No.
So that's the same mentality. A producer is basically an engineer. They put it together. They come up with the idea. They draw out the specs. They say these are the things. They get, and they make it so you can build it. The mechanic themselves takes what has been created and gifted to them, and they're able to put it into working order. That's ultimately the deal. So the reason you have to be a PA to become a director is because the PA is learning each and individual areas and complexity of the departments.
Gotcha.
Because sometimes you could be an office PA, you could be a set PA, you could be a PA assistant to the director.
You could be the underwater PA.
You could be drowning. But whereas a producer just needs to. They recommend you have an accountant's degree and a business degree to be a good producer. But
Which makes sense.
If you're good with numbers and getting people to say yes to things and do, if you're someone who can make things happen, you'd be a good producer. And you don't really, that's all a producer does. They don't really, you'll very rarely find a producer filming a movie unless they're a director. You know what I'm saying?
Like Steven Spielberg.
Like, yeah, he's a director who became a producer.
Like, I'm gonna produce my own movies.
No, he doesn't produce his own. That was Lucas. Spielberg is a company man. He owns a production company, but eventually he started a studio for DreamWorks, right? But again, he worked up.
I thought like the later stuff he became like an executive producer on like whatever he was.
Yeah, that's not a studio. I could be an executive producer as long as I have artistic integrity and I control the movement of the project.
Gotcha.
So like if I'm the boss, I'm the executive producer. But you could also get a assistant. I mean, no, you could be an executive producer by title, but you're not really getting the points or the pay for it. It's just like they do with with Stan Lee. They make him a producer on every single Marvel project ever existed, but he makes $0. It's an honorary title.
Gotcha.
I think on IMDb you can go to it and it says he produced all these things, but like again, he's not making. He's even said it in interviews. He's like, I don't get paid for it. They just do it because it's nice. But I think they're always, even now he's dead, they're going to continue to say produced by Stan Lee.
Yeah, I mean, Stan Lee basically helped birth Marvel as it is today.
Yeah, you could say that. However, there's the controversy that he stole ideas. He pushed artists out of the limelight, but him and Jack Kirby were great friends. But, at the same time, Jack Kirby created Spider-Man visually and Stan Lee created Spider-Man literally, literally. Is that how you would say it?
Well, like
with the words.
Yeah, with the words.
Like a literal.
So like the literary.
Yeah. Literally.
Literally.
I was just about to say that, but you cut me off. Wait for my ding. Yeah. So, but he was young when he came out, and people were like, that's a stupid idea. And they're like, a spider boy, because he wanted to be a boy. He didn't want to be
because he's, teenager.
Yeah. And people were like, that's stupid. And I think, I could be 100% wrong with this. I'm trying to recall it, but I think what happened was he put Spider-Man in something else, and people liked it. And then, like, the editor at the time was like, hey, what's with that Spider-Man? And he's like, do something with it. And then Jack Kirby did the iconic cover, which, by the way, that Spider-Man is like long gone. Like
the one that just swings around with the cape. Not the cape, the wing things.
No, the wings, that was on and off depending on who the artist was. But like a very stagnant look was Jack Kirby, even though Jack Kirby's the king of like, the center page, when you open up the book to the middle and it's the 2 pages, like the there's another name for that. I can't splash page or something. I can't remember
the centerfold.
No, there's a name for it. I just can't think of it right now. However, Todd McFarlane is known to have given Spider-Man the Spider-Man look.
It's like the him being all like angular and
where his legs are all over the place, and like a lot of the iconic poses that we look at for Spider-Man is Todd McFarlane, and also the webbing was a Todd McFarlane thing.
Oh yeah, where it actually looks like organic and everything and whatnot instead of just like a straight line.
And some of the editors got mad at him because they used to always make the webbing come out of the page and like off the frame.
Oh man,
and they're like, you got to stay in the frame.
He's like, why?
I don't know.
It looks so cool.
Yeah, he made it look cool. And then they were gonna fire him, but then like his first Spider-Man made $1 million, sold 1 million copies or something like that, which at $4 a thing, it's a lot of money. And they were like, all right, keep doing what you're doing.
We're like, oh my God, Spider-Man is so cool.
He's so cool. But they kept telling him to stop. And he was like, yeah, okay. And then he would just do it. And they're like, all right, well, it's drawn. Just put it out.
Yeah.
And they were about to fire him.
And then he kept getting all these awesome sales.
Yeah. And then he was like, you know what the hell with this? And he created an image, and that's the thing. Like, you're always trying to evolve your career so you have more and more control, but not just so you could do what you want. Because, if you're selfless in this industry of entertainment, you'll find more success. So if you're able to help other people, even if you get nothing out of it, ultimately you are going to get something out of it. One day or another, that person's going to refer you or send someone your way that's worth your time, or they're going to.
People want to work with people that they like, people that they enjoy, people that they can trust, people that they can rely on.
Yeah, as long as you feel joy doing what you're doing, and you can give joy to others, you too can enjoy being in the porn industry.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, I enjoy.
Ask Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, he liked it. He liked it. What was it? $50 he made for it? $100?
It's definitely not a lot of money.
How much did he make? Let me see.
I remember it was like something really small, but like, and then adjusted for inflation, it was like, it's still really small.
Sly
and the Family Stone
make on
the Italian Stallion.
I got it.
Oh, I'll stand for the audience.
The Italian Stallion.
Which is the second name, because it was named something else, but they renamed it after Rocky came out.
Yeah. Oh, he made $100.
Really?
Oh, no. Wait. Whoa.
What?
Well, wait, that's something else.
I was gonna say.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Wait.
He was making like what, 200 or 250 a week doing
250 on
to a Rocky, which adjusted for inflation is roughly about $1,000 in today's money. So if he got less than 250, that's not a good paycheck.
Oh, it was originally called The Party at Kitty and Studs. Let's see how much money he made on this. There it is. Oh, he had the cover.
What year was that?
1970. Yeah, 1970.
1970?
Yeah. Let's see.
So 1970.
1970. Doesn't say. Oh, look at that. The movie was distributed to movie theaters for $10,000 a night, about which Stallone commented, hell, for the $10,000, forget the movie. I'll be there myself. That's funny.
That's funny.
It's pretty funny. Although, it doesn't say. I could have swore I... Oh, here. I worked 2 days for $200 and got my... So he got $100 a day. That's what I said, right? Didn't I say he made $100? Oh, I think I just said he made $100, but it was $100. Porn is usually a day filming,
1970. He made $1,341.39 in today's money.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, no, that's no.
$200 for a porno. How much do you think you could get for a porno? Would they be like, all right, you're half the size of a normal human being?
Yeah. So, you're a hobbit? $50.
Yeah. Can you put these feet on?
$50 and we'll cover your meals for a week.
Oh my God. Would you do
which
a porno?
hobbit meals are
if they offered you like $50K, would you be like, all right, I'll do it?
Yes.
You would do a porno
50K?
for $50K?
Yes.
All right, you hear that, ladies? Any lady that's seeing his nudity on video, you're getting it for free. He would do it for $50K.
Apparently, it is worth $50K.
Yeah, so feel free to offer up some cash.
So if someone offered you $50K,
yeah, sure. Why not? I would do it for $1,000. I would do it for scale.
I mean,
I would never do a porn and be like, "Oh, don't look at that." I'd be like, "Yeah, that's me." Do you see that? I'm not shy. I don't need a fluffer. Get away. I'm fine. I wouldn't know because I wouldn't be. Would you be like for $50K, but like don't show my penis, or you'd be like, yeah, do whatever you gotta do.
It's $50K. Do whatever you want to do.
Really? So if they were like, all right, we're gonna bring in 2 girls and 2 guys, and you'd be like, well, it's $50K.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like, all right, we're gonna start with you 2 are gonna peg him one after the other, and then you 2 girls are never ever gonna touch him.
Maybe $51K.
$50,001 or 51,000.
51,000.
Oh, you want an extra grand?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the doctor.
Pretty much.
Excuse me, sir. I cannot get all the way inside this gentleman.
He's a hobbit. He's literally not large enough.
It's my first time. I'm just gonna need a little bit of ice cream. and a knife to kill myself. Would you say for $50K you would do a porno?
Probably, yeah.
All right. Go to my GoFundMe. I'm raising $50K for cancer.
Oh, it's live now.
It's live right now. It's to raise money for cancer. And well, the movie's going to be called Cancer, and to heal him
because it'll
of
grow
cancer.
on you.
No, to heal you of cancer as a character, you have to have sex with two guys. Well, two women watch, fully clothed.
Worth it.
What?
Worth it.
Totally. Do you think it would really be for $50K? Would you rather?
51K.
Would you rather have 100 loyal friends or $50,000?
100 loyal friends.
Why is that?
They help me go to the doctor after. No, I'm kidding.
Because you could ask me for $1 and you have 100.
Yeah.
You do that every month.
That's $100,000 a month.
How's that $100,000 a month if it's $1 a month?
You said you said 100,000 friends.
No, I said 100 friends.
Oh, I think you said 100,000.
No, I said 100 friends.
Oh.
You're loyal. Can I have $1? Thanks. Next month. Can I have $1? $200. You can make $1,200 a year if you keep at it. I would just make something that was $100. I'd be like, look, I made this book. It's $100. And then because they're loyal, they're going to buy it. So now you just made $10,000. See? That's still less than $50K.
That is.
Get the gays. Bring them in.
Let's go.
Bring them in. What wouldn't you do for $50K?
Murder somebody?
Murder somebody. If you had to pick the ugliest girl you know, all right, would you sleep with her? And what's her name?
For $50K?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's her name?
I'm not gonna say.
So what you're saying is there is somebody in your life that you feel is ugly. That's messed up. Now, just know every girl is going through their comments and messages and be like, who does he interact with me? Am I the ugly one? Look how he talks to these other girls. I don't get anything. I'll send him. Oh, you know what? I'll send him a bikini picture. He didn't even like it.
My phone's going off.
I am the ugly one. If some girl came up to me and was like, am I the ugly one? Would you lie to her and be like, listen, as long as you feel joy from listening to my music and you help me not answer that question, I would feel joy.
I mean, I could channel 14-year-old JD.
Would you? But seriously, if a girl came up to you and says, look, am I the ugly one? Would you be honest with her or would you lie? Let me hear this because I don't like liars, but go ahead.
I would not lie to her.
What would you say? You'd be like, you're the ugly one?
I would say everyone is beautiful in their own way.
But she's asking if she's the ugly one.
Well, if that is the answer that I'm giving, I feel like that is a very obvious
That's a lie because you're not answering the question. You're deviating from the question. You are, in a sense, avoiding the answer.
But I gave an answer. It just wasn't one that was desired.
You didn't answer their question. And if you were in court, they would say to you, answer the question.
If I was in court and they wanted a yes or no answer,
yeah,
well, I would go with what the court said, and I'd be like, yes or no.
You would say yes or no?
I would say yes, or I would say no. I wouldn't say yes or no.
So if she was ugly and they were like, hey.
And I'm under court order?
Yeah.
And she was ugly, I'd be like, yes.
So what you're saying is you would rather make someone hate themselves. Well, you got to say is, well, I find you ugly, but that doesn't necessarily mean you are ugly. I mean, on whole, I'm sure you are. And like, if you ask 10 people, at least 9.5 of them would say
wait,
yes.
Is one of the 10 people a midget?
No, one of them is on the fence. Like literally, just like, I don't know, maybe like, you'd be like in Seinfeld, the good light, bad light girl.
Oh yeah.
It's like, can we move? Can we sit somewhere else? That's good. That show would just, they would never be able to film that show today. And I think that's terrible because that show is hysterical. It's just a very good show. There's so much stuff in that show where you're just like, how'd they get away with that back then?
Because it was, 30 years ago. 30?
Was it 30? There's no way. It was in the 90s. Oh, wow. That's 30 years ago.
It wasn't early 90s, right?
It had to be in the 90s.
It's like 91, 92 did it come out?
Probably.
Yeah, so it's almost 20 years old. It's almost 30 years old.
Yeah, but when did I watch it? 95, maybe? 94, 95.
So it was still on the air. It
was definitely still on the air.
It ended before 2000, right?
Well,
or it ended.
No. it actually was. I think they ended it and then they started again. I mean,
Let's look. Wait, really?
look it up.
Seinfeld.
Or I think they switched days, one of the two, because it was going to get canceled. Because the first season did not do very well.
Oh, it came out 1989, July
Wow.
5th, 1989, and it went to May 14th, 1998.
98.
9 seasons.
Oh, that makes sense because I was in Florida and then I came back and that's when because I remember watching that last episode going, what the hell did I just watch?
What happened?
Why are they in jail? I thought it would be hysterical if they all came back as a show a year later because they were supposed to be in jail for 1 year for all their offenses, and then they come back and you're like, I have nothing to really talk about.
That would be really funny.
Just one episode.
That would have been an amazing punchline if that was like they had the end of the show, but they had 1 episode left.
Yeah,
that came out a year
a year later.
That would have been perfect.
I would have been like, that. This is a genius, but instead,
it would be even funnier if it's like 30 years later and they're like, finally, we got it cleared up.
Yeah, hi, I've changed my sexuality.
Oh god, that'd be so funny.
So if a girl came to you and said you are the ugliest man around, how would you react to that?
Okay.
You would just say okay.
Yeah.
Would you do something to bring joy to her as it fits into your values?
I mean, probably ask her if she wants a snow cone.
Oh my god.
Or I'd ask her if she wants maybe like a heater to thaw out that heart of ice that she has.
Oh, that's not making someone feel good though.
Made me feel good.
That's right. As long as I feel good and people feel good with how I feel. Right. So you would just be like,
I'd just be like, all right.
You wouldn't try to make her feel better. You wouldn't be like, I want to bring joy.
Good.
I want to bring joy to this moment by killing you. Would you make love to a woman you were not attracted to?
Yes.
All right, but you told me once that you cannot be attracted to somebody and desire them at the same time. But I believe I convinced you otherwise.
I don't think that's what I said.
Yeah, to desire someone, you must be attracted to them. Which is literally the same thing. I
don't think that's exactly what I said.
Yeah, you said you must be attracted to someone to desire them, or desire them, you must be attracted to them. That you cannot want to have sex with somebody unless you're attracted to them. That was the conversation because it was blowing my mind that it was such an absolute, because I'm like, it's impossible that everybody that has sex with one another either A, desires them and or is attracted to them. You can lust, which is not the same as desire, right? But you could also, and then I think we talked about like, you don't necessarily have to love someone, right, to be attracted to them or desire them, because all the formulas are just, everyone's so different.
Yeah, the whatchamacallit. It's different for each pairing.
Yeah, if you're a
coupling.
psychopath, a sociopath or crazy, or from Australia, which is all three of those. There are psychopaths who are sociopaths that are definitely crazy.
Yes.
From Australia.
Yes.
I don't think New Zealanders, is that what you call them? Kiwis?
New Zealand's? Kiwis.
Kiwis? Is that an insult? I don't want to insult them because I like kiwis.
I like kiwis too.
Not the fruit, but
I like the people kiwis, and I like the eating kiwis.
I've found,
although sometimes you can eat people, I would just not recommend doing it.
I mean, you could. Yeah, I don't understand why you wouldn't. I will say this: every New Zealander I've met has always been a great experience. Every Australian person I met has been a terrible experience. And I like to also point out, I've only ever met a New Zealander. No, I'm just kidding. I'm making jokes. Clearly, I don't like Australians. No, they're great. They're great people. Great people. They have zero animals that can kill you on their template of.
You definitely need to check your toilet, your bathrobes, and your shoes before you use any of them.
Is that true?
Yes.
They tell you that?
Yes.
When you went there, they were like, "Hey,
check your shoes, check your towel,
check your shoes, check your towel, and check the toilet."
Yep.
So let me get this straight. If you had to go out into the outhouse, because there's no way they have plumbing. If you had to go to the outhouse,
you got to check that shit.
You got to check your shit. You have to check your shoe. Be like, you got to check that. I've already crapped.
Oh God.
Have you mean you checked your shoes every single time? You were like,
I believe there are times where I didn't, but like I definitely was like, I'm gonna. Especially after the first like time I actually saw one of those huntsman spiders in person. I'm like, I'm checking every article of clothing before I put it on now.
did you see like legs hanging out of your shoes ever?
No, thank God.
Like, I think there's something in there and it
No.
owns my shoe.
It's like, oh, I want to ask it to pay rent, but I'm just too,
I've decided to limp today.
Gee, why are you walking awkward? Well, I only have one shoe on.
A spider bought my other shoe.
Bought or just moved in?
It moved in.
It's a squatter.
Yeah, it's a squatter. He's definitely squatting. What if you woke up with a spider on your face?
Oh my God, that would have been terrifying. Those things are giant.
They tell you not to move, right? They say you just got to wait until it decides to leave, because if you move, it'll bite you.
Probably.
Would you just slowly like? Oh no, because it could see behind it. Oh damn, you're messed up. For $50,000, would you allow me to put you in a room where you fall asleep and then I place a spider on your face?
No.
For $51,000.
Wait. Is it a poisonous spider?
Yeah, no, it's the biggest spider. Oh, no, it's a small spider because those are more poisonous.
Well, it depends.
And I put it in your nose.
Nope.
What kind of bug would you allow to be placed on your face?
Well, as long as it wasn't venomous or gonna bite me. Go ahead.
Any bug that wouldn't bite you?
Or
is venomous?
Or venomous. Yes.
All right. So like,
because huntsmans are not venomous, but they will bite you.
But a worm. So I could put a worm on your face.
Yeah. Whatever.
Like a night crawler.
Yeah.
And like it goes in your nose and stuff.
Ugh.
And then it goes into your like, and then you have to pull it out of your, your mucus containing nostril holes or whatever. What do you call this up here? Your
sinuses.
Sinuses, yeah. the worm is like, what's going on? This is not what I was expecting. Where's my 50K?
Why is the worm getting 50K?
Because he had to go up your nose.
He didn't have to do nothing.
Yeah, for the 50K, he had to go up your nose. So you're telling me you would tell that worm he's ugly? Where's the joy in that? Talk about values. Anyway.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, I guess that's it. All right, I don't make this stuff up. I'm Thomas J. Bellezza. This is JD McThomas J. Bellezza. And of course, you could find him on the Wings of Dragons with but believe it or not, you could actually make a right left here.com and it'll take you to his site.
Make a right left here.com.
Yeah. And you'd be like, wait a minute. No, this looks like JD McGibney. And I'd be like, that's because it's JD McThomas J. Bellezza. I'm going to make a character. Its name is JD McThomas J. Bellezza. I'll have it written.
It's just you pretending to be me.
Oh my God. And and it never answers any question.
Yeah.
It just avoids every question.
every question.
Hey, how old are you? Aren't we all old?
Why?
Wait,
what?
Did you sleep with that woman? It's so weird that like the sky is blue. What are you doing? I don't know if you're asking me philosophically or literally. I'm asking you literally. Did you sleep with my sister? That's so odd that we like the same shows.
Your sister and I.
I think you're avoiding. I think you're avoiding the question. But am I? Because like when I was 14, I didn't even know her. But now, now is it philosophical? I don't know. You tell me. I don't think you're gonna tell me if you slept with my sister. You don't even have a sister. That's avoiding. If you had a sister that was gorgeous, like a 30 on a scale of 10,
that's a lot of.
And she was like, "Look, let's just have sex once. We don't have to tell anyone. It'll just be between you and me."
I mean, at that point, we just have to.
And you're both like 22, yes. Right? What?
Just advertise that.
I slept with my sister.
Get a billboard.
And she's like, I also slept with my sister. Would you sleep with your sister if she was like divinely hot?
And she's like, hey.
Yeah, and you're both in your 20s, and you're like, look, no one's home. Let's just do it once. Never have to. It's not gonna mess me up.
Listen, I would go Lannister on that, and then I would again just get billboards to be like, "Yo, I did this."
Would you? Would you really? Would you? Your parents come home. We slept together.
Woohoo!
And they'd be like, "Oh, that's all right. That's your brother."
Yep. Woohoo!
What? So you would advertise that?
Yeah, why not?
Why would you
I
advertise?
mean, advertising space is cheap at this day.
No, it's not. It's expensive. I don't understand the philosophy in this. Like, why would you tell people that you slept with your sister?
Why would you
What?
not?
Yeah, because it's your sister.
Meh.
You're not supposed to sleep with your siblings unless they're half siblings that aren't related to you,
So,
or if they're siblings
I mean, a step sibling.
that are from other people. Like, I could sleep with your sister if you had one, and that would be okay.
I mean, one of my brothers was supposed to be his sister, so you can technically almost sleep with him.
So now that you've gone away from the question, I go back to it. You would really? Are you seriously saying you would advertise that you slept with your sister?
No.
Oh, but would you sleep with your sister?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You would really sleep with your sister?
I mean, both of us have big beds. Why would we not sleep in the
No,
same
I
bed?
mean like have sex.
Oh, probably not.
Why? She's like a third. She's like a divine beauty, though.
Would you sleep with your divinely hot sister?
And not tell anyone? Yeah. If she's okay with it, like, it's just, we're not having kids. So you wouldn't. You would tell her she's ugly. You're like, I'm not attracted to you, and she's like, but I'm divinely beautiful. Yeah, I'm not. What
Sorry,
are you?
you're not my type.
Just be like, are you gay? Here's $50,000. Now would you sleep with her?
Probably.
Bro, so you really would sleep with your sister for $50,000?
Yes.
That's disgusting. That's terrible. So you're saying
This sounds very anti-Semitic.
So you don't like her. So you're saying you don't like her because for $50K you would go through with it, but without the money, you're like, oh, I just could never picture myself enjoying this divinity. Is that what you're saying? So $50K will basically make you do whatever you want.
Is it too late to choose blind?
Would you have sex with that man? No. $50K. How often? Well, now I don't know. Do you want to sleep with him? No, I want $50K. But you gotta literally have sex with him. Oh, sex? Yeah. Okay. $50K. I thought you meant like take a nap or so. I can nap with someone all day. But for $50K, I would never be caught dead in bed. Now, would you share a bed with your sister if she was like a divine beauty?
Yeah, sure.
Like if they're like, hey, you guys got to share the bed. Would you be like, and then she like gets naked and lays under the blanket? Would you?
If we accidentally have sex while we're sleeping.
I did not mean to slip into your hole, but I apologize. Here's $50K. Would you tell your, be like, hey, put some clothes on. We can't sleep in the same bed with you naked. Or would you be like, you'd watch her get naked and then you'd go, you should put clothes on, but slowly.
I mean, that one's more entertaining.
I'm talking like she's so beautiful. Like she's everything that you've ever wanted in a human being. Personality, physical. She's just divinely beautiful. You're telling me you'd be like, hey, put your clothes back on. We can't.
No, because that would just be rude. What if it's really hot and the air conditioner's broken? And then we accidentally end up having sex while we're sleeping.
So what you're saying is nudity is sexual.
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying if
you're sexualizing your sister.
I mean,
keep in mind he doesn't have a sister. Nor would she be a 30.
No.
All right, so let me get this straight. You would sleep with your sister for free.
If she was divinely hot, like a 30 out of 5, then yes.
That's disgusting. Would you have sex with her?
Yes.
All right.
That is twice as disgusting.
Would you go down on her, or would you be like, look, we'll just look face to face and we'll make like we're playing the staring contest?
If she's a 30, I mean, everything's on the table.
So she can peg you.
Sure, why not?
You would let her peg you.
If she's divinity incarnate, then yeah.
Whatever. Now that I got him to officially say all this, let me point out something, ladies. If he doesn't let you peg him, you are ugly. And that's literal. Imagine that. I brought my strap on. Yeah, that's not happening. Oh, I'm ugly? Yep. Some of us are. Yeah, but am I ugly? No. Why would I? What do you think? Well, can I peg you? No. So I'm ugly. That's so funny that we all can see differently. What are you saying? I'm just saying I'm hungry. All right, but can I peg you? I don't think that's on the table. What? The food that I would like in my belly. I think you're avoiding the question. Yeah, it's because you're ugly. Anyway, just putting that out there.
Anyway, we don't make this stuff up.
Yeah, I definitely didn't make any of that up. None of that came out. That was all honesty, ladies. All honesty. By the way, I would not sleep with my sister. But I would have sex with her. All right.